Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of the Hightide. It's your host Ed here today, and I've got my guest Marvin with me. What's going on, man?
Howdy. It's going.
2020 has been a rough year, man.
Dude,
What have you been doing to get through it all?
I've been isolating in my house alone responsibly, and not because I lost my job and I'm broke as fuck, but because I'm being responsible.
Okay, solid. Yeah, I've been writing a bit more. I don't know, just trying to keep it low key, not doing any crazy shit. I haven't traveled much. I went to New Hampshire pretty early on in the pandemic. It was pretty fun.
I went to Portland, Maine to go whale watching with my girlfriend for as like an us trip, because that'd be nice, and we did it real responsibly. Like, we weren't like going to bars or anything. And it was a 3-day trip. I paid for the hotel in advance, and we got there, and they refunded the ticket for whale watching because of the weather.
Oof.
And because of the pandemic, now we didn't have anything to do in Portland.
Damn.
I got her to try lobster. It grossed her out.
Yeah, I can't eat lobster. I actually am like allergic.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've heard it's really good, but
yeah, some places do lobster really
yeah, I
well.
feel like that's some
Sometimes
shit that's gotta be made just right.
Yeah, it's then you gotta soak it in the butter so it just doesn't taste bland.
Word. Yeah, when I went to New Hampshire, we didn't do too much. We as you know, vapes are fucking illegal up here, so we actually just went to buy some vapes and shit, and then hit a couple vape shops, and then we went and swam in the ocean. It was pretty cool.
That's nice.
Did you swim in the ocean in Maine?
We didn't swim in the ocean because it was mad cold. We did this a month ago, maybe 2 months.
Okay.
But we went to the coast and we saw it. And it was beautiful. And there were these old, they looked like military fortifications.
In Maine?
Yeah, in Maine.
Oh, shit.
In Portland, Maine. Just on the coast. And I mean, I don't know what they were. I don't know if they were military, but they looked so. It looked like there were places to put turrets and stuff. So it was pretty cool. There are other people there at the coast checking it out.
Oh yeah, where we went in New Hampshire, I guess there was you know how in town we have the planes by the base and shit.
Oh yeah.
They had that, but it was submarines. So I guess Portsmouth, New Hampshire, used to manufacture a fuck ton of submarines back.
I've always wanted to break inside of that bomber that they have, and
dude, that shit's pretty
just
cool.
hotbox it, and then just leave. Not tell anyone. Not make a big deal that I'm there. But I feel like that would just be a real fun experience, just for just in my head.
Take
That's
some
a keeper.
pictures for the Instagram story.
Can't tell anyone, but the grind.
Yeah, man, I fucking deleted Instagram earlier in the year. I deleted everything but Snapchat.
I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it. It was more of my ex-girlfriend made me download it type thing.
Oh shit.
And now I don't know how to delete my account without also deleting my Facebook.
Yeah, you see they're fucking breaking up Facebook?
The what?
They're breaking up Facebook.
Oh, the monopoly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I heard about that. I heard that in was it Senate hearing or congressional hearing?
I
And
think it was
I think it was Senate hearing. They said the words that Facebook was basically a monopoly. And when I heard that, I was like, basically, the.
I feel like it's been done for a while.
Yeah. So and especially with the way that the state sponsors capitalism, it's not as easy to break up trusts as it was 100 years ago. And when we recognize monopolies, like Amazon might be, we tend to not do anything about them. So it's interesting to see the hearing. I don't know if anything's going to come out of it, though.
I think they're forcing Facebook to sell off Instagram and WhatsApp.
That'd be sick.
I think that's a legitimate thing.
Oh.
I don't know if that's an actual they
think
said
that's
they had to
good.
do that, or if that's just an idea that's floating around. But
Because fuck Facebook, and not just because I keep getting banned.
You've been banned on Facebook?
Nah.
Oh, word.
Nah. Just some of my favorite pages. There's this page I followed called McRib, and then it was like a it was a delicious sandwich, dude. I fucking love that sandwich. It was like a semi-political, like satirical joke page, and then it got banned for some reason. And this, like the backup page, renamed it to the artist formerly known as McRib, like this intro video, and it was eventually deleted again.
Damn.
And nobody understands when I missed that Facebook page.
Dude, fucking, I don't know if she goes to P State for political science. I don't know if you know Naran, but I've had a couple classes with her. This chick is from Egypt, and she like goes home over breaks and shit, and she's like politically active on Facebook and shit when she's in America, but when she goes back home, she has to like delete all of her Facebook and shit, otherwise she'll get like persecuted.
Yeah, dude, they're a lot less. Well, I guess it's not less shy about political violence, but it definitely happens a lot more often. Especially since the Arab Spring in 2011.
Yeah, shit's kind of whack in that whole part of the world, man.
I'd love to go.
I want to see like Israel. I've heard Israel's really nice.
Oh yeah, Israel's beautiful. That's also on my list.
This chick told me that she did mushrooms in Bali and that it was like fucking amazing. I was kind of jealous.
I would love to go to Bali too. I'd love to do mushrooms in India.
Ooh.
But maybe not in like a city like Bali or Calcutta. I prefer to do it out in the rural because
yeah, I like to be in nature when I'm tripping.
A shit ton of people, and like it'd be dope to like trip at Taj Mahal. Probably mad disrespectful. And I'd also probably because they make you take it's a mausoleum. They make you take your shoes off before you go inside.
Oh shit.
So it's got like religious significance. I would hate to be around that many people when tripping. Though I just get like sweaty and anxious.
Yeah.
And like everyone's already staring at the foreigner, and then it's gonna be the foreigner who's freaking out. Like
it's just cultural differences. That's right. I met a guy recently that told me he loves like doing acid in fucking New York City and just like looking at skyscrapers and then going and seeing all the street art and shit.
See, I'm weird already, and acid just makes me act funny. And I know if I'm in public and tripping, and I know it's fine because in New York City and like 1 in 10 people are actively tripping in front of you there, but I feel like I would just get myself into some like Looney Tunes dumbass situation, like you remember the cartoon about the baby who would wander through a construction site and everyone's like rushing to save the baby and they're all getting hurt and the baby by just like dumb luck is tipping to the next iron beam.
It's like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean.
That I feel would be the result of me tripping. Because, you know, like acid makes it feel like the world sort of caters to you.
Yeah.
That but dangerous situations in New York City.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of a fan of mushrooms than I am acid, personally.
Yeah. I prefer mushrooms.
I don't know. An acid trip is just too fucking long sometimes.
We can cut this part, but do you want to do some shrooms?
Not today, but
No, not today.
soon. Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
broke, so...
Oh, we don't gotta cut it out if you don't want to. I don't really give a shit. Yeah, I generally don't cut anything out unless somebody's like, oh, specifically, please cut that out.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've done shrooms. It's probably like 5-6 months.
Yeah, it's been a while.
My last trip was alright. It was interesting. I was up in Chazy, so like the stars, you can see the stars like much better than you can in Plattsburgh.
Yeah, as well as light pollution.
Dude, it was beautiful. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with like astronomy at all, and like
my
all
girlfriend's
the
a lot more into it than I am, but whenever we look at the stars, she points to every constellation.
Yeah, I can point a lot of them out too. But you know, like how like they have like the stick figures for the constellations.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, as I was looking up in the sky, like I was just seeing the stick figures in the sky. Like it was wild.
I've never had like really intense visual hallucinations off of hallucinogens, and I would love to. I heard recently though that like some people just like never get visuals, and it's just the body high, which sucks because like when you're not tripping, when you're on shrooms and you're just like dome high and you're not tripping, you're not getting visuals. It's like, well, I could just smoke 5 blunts to get this feeling.
Yeah. I made the mistake one time of smoking weed while tripping, and that just makes you trip a lot fucking harder.
A lot harder.
Like I was like kind of like not really tweaking, but
like frequently, because like the dips are shorter. The periods where you're not tripping are shorter, or maybe it feels that way because I'm high and tripping.
Well, yeah, this shit, like, I was like, oh, I need to mellow out, and then I just started tripping harder. I was like, oh, that was not the move.
This one time, I ate an eighth of shrooms with a mutual friend of ours, Toaster, and we decided to order Domino's, and we put it on pizza, so we ate like half a pizza each with our shrooms on it. And then, like, I don't know what the fuck was wrong with us, but we sat in the living room and immediately fell asleep. And, like, we woke up 45 minutes later, like, fuck, you tripping? Nah. You tripping? No. Fuck. And we had, like, slept through it and missed our trip.
Damn.
But we only slept for, like, a half hour, 45 minutes. We were dumb high, but, like, we were not tripping.
No shit.
Have you ever ruined a trip accidentally? Well, I guess no one does it intentionally unless you're an asshole or sadistic.
Right. No, I can't say I've really, like, I've had one experience I've talked about on the podcast before. I'm sure I've told you about it, but it wasn't really like a bad trip. It was just like a really bad situation that we kind of found ourselves in while tripping.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy.
It would have been shitty if you weren't tripping.
Yeah, it would have been just as like sketch if we weren't tripping, but the fact that we were tripping probably made it a little more sketch.
Yeah.
And then I just like ate way too much and smoked way too much that night, and like had like some crazy ego death. But it wasn't like a bad trip. It was more of like a learning experience, you know.
I fucking hate learning experiences.
Why are you in school?
Well, especially with drugs, learning experiences tend to be bad experiences. Like, oh fuck, I'll never do that again. I wish I just listened to what so-and-so said instead of trying it myself.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta experience it for yourself to really fucking get it there. And then afterwards you're like, well, fuck, this could have been avoidable.
So-and-so.
Yeah. No, I've had some experiences like that. Fucking, speaking of school, you finished your semester?
I did. I just gotta submit my completed revised draft. I wrote this big ass paper. It ended up being like 30, 40 pages. And once I add the footnotes in, because I don't know how to write.
It's my least favorite way to study is through footnotes.
Yeah. And then like I do it real stupid. I write the paper and then I'll add the footnotes in later, which is what I'm doing. And it's easily gonna add another 10 pages.
I do mine the opposite way. So like when I have to write a paper, I'll throw together, like I'll get all the sources and then I'll throw together the works cited page, like the night before usually, and then I'll just sit down and write the whole paper start to finish.
Yeah, it was. So it was for a history class, and we were learning how to do historiographies. So it was a historiography paper, it's sort of.
What is that historiography?
What was it?
What is a historiography?
So a historiography
about history?
is, it picks a topic. So, for example, my topic was the West Virginia Coal Wars, and it looks at how historians have written about it over time.
Ooh, okay.
So it makes a thesis that's not direct analysis of the subject, but sort of like meta-analysis. That's probably a word. It was sort of like a second order analysis of how the subject is talked about.
Okay. That's interesting. I've never heard of that type of paper.
Fucking hate it. Don't recognize.
Yeah, it sounds hard to write, but
it was really difficult to come up with a thesis because I had to without having a thesis, you could just pick sources and read them and try and find a common theme.
yeah.
And it was just boring as fuck, man.
Damn. Yeah, I finished all my semester. The last thing I had to do yesterday. I don't know if you've seen the movie Lord of War with Nick Cage, but it was actually a really good movie. The class was about.
It's my favorite bad movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bad movies.
The class is about like trade and economics and like the politics behind economics and shit. And we learned all about like legal international trade and all this shit throughout the semester. And then it was like watch this movie and write a 4-page paper on how all the shit we learned about legal trade applies to the illegal arms trade.
Oh damn.
It was actually not a bad paper to write. It was only 4 pages
I
too.
could shit that out in a half hour. Well,
Yeah, it took me about 45 minutes.
But
Maybe an hour.
over a night.
Like the movie took me longer than the paper.
Yeah, but dude, Nick Cage is, as I remember, because I saw it a number of years ago, but very overly dramatic and a lot of like situations that call for dramatic acting, but like over the top.
Yeah, he was
lot
a bit.
like. Have you seen The Rock? It's like Michael Bay's first movie.
I'm not.
It's Nick Cage, Sean Connery, and I forget the bad guy. But Nick Cage's acting in that is like awful in like a beautiful, like magnificent bastard kind of way. And I'm pretty sure he only has his career based off I'm pretty sure his uncle is Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, okay. No shit.
So like
He's connected.
yeah, deep connected.
He's got a new movie coming out.
Nick Cage.
Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, isn't he playing the Tiger King?
I think it's something like that. It looked like
It's like a dramatization.
pretty mystical, whatever it was. I'll look up what movie he's fucking. Type in Nick Cage new movie. Oh, it's called Jiu-Jitsu.
Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. Oh, he's in a couple of upcoming movies. It's The
Yeah,
Unbearable
Quarantine was
Weight
really
of the
good
Massive
to
Talent
Nicolas Cage.
in Willy's Wonderland. Dude, he's in
Everyone got locked in their homes, started watching old movies, and realized Nick Cage is a good actor.
Dude, I
Or
was
at least
shocked.
a magnificent bastard of a bad actor.
I saw him in the movie with Edward Snowden. I was not expecting to see him in that movie.
It was weird that they made a movie about that so, soon, and also the situation hasn't resolved itself. Like, isn't Edward Snowden still in Russia?
Yeah. And it's crazy, too, because the shit that... well, obviously, he's in a situation because of violating, national security and shit like that. But what he, outed was the NSA spying on people. The Supreme Court has, very recently, I think earlier this year, they ruled that what Edward Snowden exposed was, in fact, illegal. So,
So are they gonna stop?
I don't know. They're probably just going to do the same thing under a different name.
I want to see
Different
this dick
agency or
pic
some
database. I know it exists. You can't tell me it doesn't. I want to see the dick pic. Not to look at the dick pics, but to confirm my suspicions.
Fair enough.
Maybe I'm just paranoid. Long distance relationships are hard, guys.
Yeah, dude, I really would like to see that guy pardoned, but I don't. Trump, I thought might, especially in the election to try and get support of the people.
I don't know if he really understood the nuance. I feel like if he heard enough about Edward Snowden, it would really just be like a coin flip as to pardoning or extraditing.
He supposedly watches Joe Rogan, and Snowden's been on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Trump watches Joe Rogan?
Supposedly, that's what I've heard. He wanted to have
That
a
sounds
debate
like
with
bullshit.
Biden on the Rogan show.
Yeah, because I Trump wanted that?
I don't think Trump said, let's do this, but I don't think Trump actually wanted it.
I don't think he understood.
I think he just...
Because I feel like Joe would have been, like, really, like... He would follow up a lot on Trump's bullshit. A lot by asking...
Joe didn't want to do it. That was the reason it didn't happen. Joe was like, I just didn't want to do it, or, like, didn't respond.
Yeah, fucking...
And I think Trump knew... Well, like, Rogan's, like, rightly so, but he's questioned, like, Joe Biden and, like, his mental health and shit like that.
Well, but what that's gonna do is, like, he has a podcast community, his YouTube community, and, like, he's working with that. Hosting a national debate would get him endless coverage from a lot of people who just wouldn't like him, like the super liberals or like the conservatives who just...
Yeah, the liberals fight amongst themselves quite a bit.
Not as much as leftists. That's... Oh, man. I wish the left could just get its shit together.
Yeah.
This is poor taste of me acting with a visual thing like I just did on an audio medium, because I just looked off in the distance wistfully as to punctuate what I said.
I can't wait till I have video. When I get a new apartment, I'm gonna get a video instead of going. Yeah.
You're gonna have to get like fun shit to put on the table.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna try
Dear
to
listener,
get
the only things on the table are the laptop, recording equipment,
nice chessboard.
chessboard, empty Arizona. It's bare bones here. Now if we got like a Mother Teresa bobblehead,
Ooh.
and then like switch that with like a Hawaiian, switch the head with like the Hawaiian dancer that you would find at the afterwards, I feel like that would be a nice bit.
Yeah, Chase and I, we're trying to make like a studio / creative room. We both fuck around with music, and I'm doing the podcast, and I write as well. And I want to get into drawing a little bit. It's never really been my forte, like drawing and painting. But we want to have like just a creative room / like studio, and we're gonna get like a bunch of art and like decorations and like cool shit to go in there.
Sorry. Would this be like at your place in where you're looking to move, or?
Hopefully, ideally, like we can't really afford a 3-bedroom. Depends, like maybe dude, there's some like crazy deals that come up, and they go fucking like that. But like they come up from time to time. Like I know people in town that rent a fucking 4-bedroom apartment for
every now and then a landlord isn't a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. But ideally, we're trying to find something with like either like a miniature like office type room, a 3-bedroom as opposed to a 2,
like a
or something with a garage. Yeah, like it's gonna be a separate space. Or even if like say we have just a 2-bedroom and it's like a master bedroom. Usually those have like a big enough walk-in closet that you can like probably get something in there.
You can set something in there.
Yeah, but we're looking at the options and shit, trying to figure it out. But I'm definitely my bedroom's gonna be bare bones for what I'm gonna throw most of my money into like a nice studio,
nice
hangout room.
Spartan lifestyle for now.
Speaking of Spartan, dude, my grandfather. So I told you he sent me a bunch of cool hats and shit the other day. He sent my dad a fucking
helmet.
Yeah, dude. There's like a big like $800 like fucking remake of a helmet from Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
it's like a Spartan type helmet.
I
do. I have a picture of all of us wearing it.
Because I'm a fucking... I love me
shit
some
was
Lord of the
hilarious. It's like extra as fuck, dude. I don't know why he bought that, but it's my little brother wearing it.
Oh yeah, that looks like...
he sent that axe, dude.
That looks like the crown of Elendil.
Oh, that's my...
Why are you not wearing it?
I have at some point.
There you go.
Dude, my head is so small apparently. Like, everybody else is like struggling to wear this helmet, dude. It was just like floating on my head. I was like, what?
I have a large head to the point where like I borrowed my girlfriend's hats, like just to mess with her. But like she gets mad if I put them on because it'll stretch it out.
Damn. Dude, I'm still rocking the same pair of shoes I had in fucking middle school, and I'm a junior in college.
Damn.
But, like, I don't really give a fuck about shoes, man. But
So-
hats, I have so many fucking hats.
I love hats.
And they all have, like, a story.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got most of my collections downstate. I feel I didn't bring my hat collection with me to college because I didn't think it was conducive to getting laid. And I think I was right because whenever I would talk about my hat collection, you could hear vagina snapshot.
Like a Venus flytrap.
Whoa.
There goes Boba Fett.
We've been talking about his fucking hats again. Get the dick out of here.
Yeah, that's a fact. Fucking, when I get my place, I'm gonna like put like a bunch of tacks on the wall, and then just like hang all my hats. Like I have a whole wall of fucking hats.
Yeah, make like a decoration thing out of it.
Yeah.
Get like a bunch of trophy cases, but for like the most basic hats. Like put the really nice ones on the wall, but put like just
My
the
SUNY
basic
Plattsburgh
SUNY
hat.
Plattsburgh hat in the trophy case.
Oh, this is great. I have a nice
Just like as a
beanie
bit,
that
because I feel like
I didn't even ever go to Champlain College, but I applied there, and I decided not to go because out of state. It was expensive as fuck.
if you could get
And they
the
sent me
hat
a
from
hat.
school you got rejected from and put that in the trophy case, I think that would. Did you get rejected from any schools you applied to?
No, I can accept all of them. I applied to Platts, St. Lawrence, Champlain, and
I applied to
One
11
downstate.
schools, all SUNY schools. I won't tell you how many said no, but I mean, I went to Plattsburgh, so.
yeah, I just fucking, I don't know. I was like, it was just a money thing for me, man. Like,
Yeah,
I got to my
the
first
cheapest.
semester, like my income and taxes and all sorts of shit changed over the years. Like I'm taking out loans now. My first semester, like without having to take out any loans, anything. Like I got paid $2,000 to go, as opposed to putting myself $1,000 in debt. I was like, yeah.
I forget what I was about to say. Oh yeah, no. So the money was a big reason, and another big reason was that it's so SUNY Plattsburgh is so far. It's like a 6-hour drive from where I went to high school. So there would be no way of my family just like surprising visiting if I went to like New Paltz or Bard College or whatever.
Yeah, my high school's like 20-30 minutes away, so I didn't travel far at all.
Yeah, I just needed that space and independence from my family, so I could learn that I'm an alcoholic who has poor organizational skills.
Yeah, but you go through that shit and you figure it out.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
just
some
freshman year
people
shit, man.
don't, but like a lot of people go through that and they figure it out and then they get their shit together.
Sure.
Like I bombed my first fucking semester. I took 4 classes, failed 2 of them.
I bombed my first year. I was dismissed and then I had to like take some time off, take some classes I couldn't, and then come back.
No shit. I didn't get dismissed, but I was like on
Academic probation.
yes. So like I fucking had to submit a letter and I had to like go to these meetings.
Yeah, I went to that
And,
first meeting and I never went to any others.
But now I've got like around a 3.0 for a major, a double major, single minor.
Oh, dope.
Doing really good in all my classes. But I actually, dude, I almost dropped out after my first semester. Like I came really close to doing it, and
You start justifying it with like, well, do I really fucking need a degree?
it wasn't even that. It was just like
Maybe
I was just
feel
like
where
I
I'm
could go
at.
get a job at like FedEx or some shit and make fucking 30-40 grand a year, and not have to worry about all this shit. There's just a lot of shit, but I don't know. I also like value education and learning and whatnot. And I was just in kind of a bad environment, the place I was living at the time. And my second semester, like I got out of there. I kind of dipped out of my lease early and fucking was the only roommate to get my security deposit back. They all kind of fucked me over in different ways, and I kind of just like blew the whistle. I was like, listen, like this guy's not going to be able to pay rent. I've got my last month's rent. Here's this. Like, can I fucking get, or I was like, I'd use my last month's rent as my security deposit.
Mm.
And then I fucking dipped out at the end of the month and came here. And I'm been here as of next month. I've been here 2 years.
Damn. Yeah, I just left my place on Clinton Street. I was there for like 3 years.
Were you there that long?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I was there for, it was, let's see, probably from 2017 to, I moved out in June.
Oh, shit.
I think I was officially out in September, but...
Yeah, I paid my last month's rent here yesterday, so I'm excited, fucking fitting to get out of here. I actually have a living room and shit.
It's gonna be dope.
We have got mini fridges in our room too. There's not a lot of space for fucking actual groceries and shit.
Right.
And like they just randomly move people in here too, like out of the blue.
Yeah.
Fucking like, cause I remember when I was in like a different apartment here, and there was just like a lot of reasons. It was after my mushroom trip. Like I realized I needed a change of scenery, and my buddy had just moved out, and I also realized like if you just get a summer lease here, it's like $300 something a month. If you're on a year lease, it was like $550. My rent's gone up. It's like $600 for most people. I'm at like $575 right now, and I just realized like I was kind of paying the fucking most, and I had like one of the smallest rooms here, and like I went to my landlord and was like, "Can I switch?" She was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Like fucking, we'll do it today." I was like, "Oh, word." So then she shows me this one, and most fucking places in here have 4 rooms. This one only had 3, so I was like, I'm digging that. And then I told her it had to be on the ground floor because like I work out in my room and shit, and I didn't want to piss off the neighbors. So she ended up showing me this. I was like, and she's like, "Oh, this chick lives there, yada yada yada. You know her?" Like I was like, "Yeah, I've smoked a few cigs with her out in the fucking pavilion. She's cool, whatever." And I had her number, and I like texted her. I was like, "Oh, like I'm moving into the suite or whatever," and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck, when?" And I was like, "I'm currently moving my stuff over right now." I was like, "The landlord didn't talk to you at all?" And she's like, "Nope." I was like, "Oh, it was kind of awkward, but we ended up hooking up for the summer." And
kind of shitty of the landlord.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, like it was awkward at first, but it was worked out in the end. But like, that's kind of whack, just to like move like some random guy in with like this chick. Like I don't know.
Yeah, because like you could have been anyone.
Yeah.
And the landlord doesn't know. And
Well, I think the landlord knew. Like I'd been here for a while. Like I'm on a person land basis, and like the landlord's here every fucking day. But we got a different landlord now, and she kind of, I'm not going to say she sucks, but she's just not as good as her job as the other landlord was.
Do you think she would have done the same thing for a black tenant?
Ooh. I don't know. They kind of just randomly, like, let people, they show people, they're like, "This is what we have available for rooms," and people go and look, and they're like, "Yep, I want to live here," and they're like, "All right, here's the keys, do whatever."
Yeah, I heard that Renaissance is pretty laissez-faire with that.
Yeah, so, like...
Just slinging out all the French words I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of strange the way they do it. Like, it is college living and shit. It's no different than the dorms. You get paired with some random person, but I think at least with the dorms, you fill out like a survey or some shit. Like, what are you into, this and that, and then they try and pair you with somebody that's like into the same shit as you.
Do they?
At the dorms, I've heard that's the thing.
Freshman year,
Oh, I lived off campus my freshman year.
I don't know. Probably because you live so close, right?
Well, yeah, because you're allowed to stay with your parents, but I didn't really stay with my fucking parents. My parents just signed a form that said I was staying with them. And, like, my address is still my parents' house, but yeah, I lived like in an apartment, which I guess that was part of my problem, and I think that's probably why they don't want you to live in an apartment by yourself.
Yeah, because, well, for a lot of people, it's the first time living on their own. And the dorm provides sort of, like, you don't have to worry about fucking up your finances, and the consequence of that being you can't pay rent. Like, they give you a meal plan, so you don't have to worry about fucking up your finances.
But a lot of that's part of the reason that I got paid the $2,000 though, was because I didn't live on campus. If I lived on campus, I would have had to take out loans,
Yeah.
And I did the math,
That's what I
man.
did, and that shit's so
I
expensive.
did the fucking math. It would cost me more to live on campus for the 2 semesters than it would to pay my rent for an entire year.
Yeah, just the
And
meal plan, the freshman meal plan.
I'd have to go
comes out
home.
Like 15, 16
Oh,
bucks
yeah.
a meal.
Yeah,
And
that
you get
shit's
like 3
expensive.
meals. You get 999 meals.
Yeah. And like, dude, literally, like, living on campus costs more than my rent for a year. And you gotta figure, I would have had to go home for winter and for summer breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of just like a no-brainer. Like, I'm gonna get paid $2,000, which will pay most of my rent for the first semester.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I miss freshman year, which sucks because freshman year sucks.
Oh, mine was like up
You ever
and
been
down.
nostalgic for the shitty times, just during particularly shitty times?
Oh yeah.
COVID had me missing the Bush years.
That dead. I don't even remember much of the Bush years. Fucking, he was outed in what, 2008?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was only like 8 when he left office.
Oh shit. I was 15, 16? How old was I? I was 8. No. Fuck, Jesus Christ, I'm so high, math was hard. I was born in 1995. In 2005 would be 10. 2008, I would have been 13.
No shit. Yeah, my first like memory of like politics and that type of shit was like the Obama-McCain debates.
My family got, as did many, so right after the towers fell in 2001, my family moved to New York, and like many families, got like super into patriotic shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of early memories about, I was 5 or 6 at the time, I think. Yeah, I was 6 into that one. And so a lot of my first memories of like political stuff is like really jingoistic Americana, fueled by 9/11.
Yeah. That's what's worrisome with this whole fucking COVID shit, man, because like the rights they took away after 9/11.
Yeah,
Fucking, they're
and
taking away
and
some
that just
rights
flavored
fucking
my
with COVID.
that just flavored my memories of the Bush years of just like pointless jingoistic bullshit.
Yeah. Fucking, it's crazy that the governors, like, magically now have the ability to just control what you can and can't fucking do.
I mean, I guess they've always had that ability, though.
I mean, I guess, but they've definitely, like, set a precedent in using it the way that they have.
I don't disagree with the way that Cuomo's been using this power, if it is new. Because the U.S. has had pandemics before, and the governors have had a substantial say in the, medical response for their state.
I just think it should be, like, kind of more nationalized than, like, left up to governors.
Left up to the governors, so more of a federal thing than a state thing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's hard because, like,
It's hard
the federal
because, like,
government isn't going to
New
know
York
what
needs-
each particular state
Yeah,
needs. But
New York needs so many ventilators, and West Virginia needs so many thousand ventilators. Like each state has different needs.
yeah.
And with a respiratory illness, I'm sure different, climates have different.
Oh yeah, dude.
medical
My
needs and shit.
my grandfather, dude, he fucking lives out in Arizona, and he has Agent Orange from fucking fighting in Vietnam, and
Does he live out in Arizona because it's easier on his lungs?
yeah, well, it's just easier on like all of his fucking body, like all of his joints and shit, because it's only like 5% humidity out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't
like,
deal
any
with cold
respiratory
climates.
issues, like the cold or like the super humid is like drowning your own lung fluid.
Yeah, fucking, I used to get really bad bloody noses, but I didn't run like a humidifier and shit.
Yeah, I used to get bloody noses. I got this one bloody nose in freshman year of high school. And it happened like while I was falling asleep in class. So like my classmate just like nudged me while my face is just on the desk in a pool of blood. Fuck! You're alive? And I was like, huh? And the teacher, Miss Martier, was like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know, I think I hit myself. Because I didn't know what was happening. And then the class was like, what the fuck? Why did you hit yourself? And I was like, can I go to the nurse? And then I just got up and like shuffled out of the room, just like blood everywhere. Man, it was gross.
My bloody noses got horrible, man. Because my sister broke my nose one year. It was Easter morning, and the night before, like I had helped my mom like hide all the eggs and
just
shit.
brings out the emotion.
Right. So
You say some atheist shit, and she said, "Not today, not on Jesus's."
I wish it went
birthday.
like that. It was a bit more embarrassing than that. Fucking. So she's younger than me, and she still believed in the Easter Bunny and all this shit. And so I helped my mom hide all the Easter eggs and shit the night before. And I pass out like late as fuck at night, like on the living room couch. And my mom specifically told my sister, don't fucking wake anybody up till like 7 a.m. This and that, like the whole speech. Fucking
She's so
dude,
excited.
like 5:45 in the morning, comes barreling ass into the living room. Wake up, it's Easter. I'm like, yo, fuck off. Like it's not 7 o'clock yet. She like is all excited, runs across the living room and like dives on top of me to like wake me up, and she kneed me in the nose. My nose broke. And I started getting really bad bloody noses after that, even more than I had. And dude, I had to get my fucking nose cauterized.
Damn.
Like, dude, I went in
because it just wouldn't stop bleeding.
Yeah, all the time. Like, it was bad, dude. And like,
how did they do that? Did they just stick like a metal tool up your nose and burn it?
So, well, first off, like, I go there, right? And like, it was just like a thing to see if I would like qualify to get the procedure or not, right? So I wasn't expecting to get the procedure right then and there. Oh, it turns out, yep, you qualify, this and that. I had a guy cancel, let's get this done right here, right now. I'm like, what? Might as fucking well. And,
I hate how casual doctors are about serious shit. Like,
and the procedure itself wasn't painful, but prior to the procedure, like, they had to figure out where to cauterize. So they stick like this long ass, like snake looking fucking thin thing that's like a camera, and they shove it up your nose. Or they might have went through my mouth and up. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But I think it was up my nose.
Did not feel good.
And that was so fucking painful. That hurt like a
freshly
bitch.
broken nose.
Yeah, well, but it was a little while. It was a couple months after I broke my nose and I got this done. But, yeah, dude, that was painful as fuck. And then, like, after that, like, he sprayed some numbing shit up in my nose. And then they go through with this thing and they just shoot.
They open with that?
They just shoot liquid. Well, they put a little bit of numbing stuff for the camera, but the camera still hurt. Then they re-numbed it. And then they go in with, like, this thing that shoots liquid nitrogen in your nose. And, yeah.
Damn. That's brutal, man.
Yeah, that's like the only procedure I've ever really had to have. And that wasn't like a full-on procedure at all, but...
I hate medical procedures. Have you ever... So you've never had like a surgery or anything?
I have not. Did you just have the one this year?
I had 2 this year.
2 this year?
Those were the only surgeries I've ever had. They sucked. Because it's like... And I guess it's different for everyone. Like, some people that just have no problem being under general anesthetic and be like, alright, I'm going under. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And so I was nervous as shit, like, because I'm more... I like more control than to just knock out and let someone
you're kind of
be
leaving...
wrist deep in me doing whatever.
Yeah, you're leaving it all up to the people working.
Yeah. And my cousin is a doctor. She's a pathologist, so she looks at what surgeons take out and send to the lab. She's the lab. And she was like, yeah, so like, I had a lymph node removal. So when doctors remove lymph nodes and send them to the labs, often they're just like covered in fat, like they're not very precise. Sometimes they'll send us lumps with no lymph nodes at all.
Damn.
And I was like, why are you telling me this? I need this surgery.
Oof.
It was, but I'm better now. I can lift 25 pounds.
Okay.
That's neat. I'll be able to work again soon.
That's what's up. Yeah, fucking. Have you ever broken any bones?
I have broken a couple. When I was 4, I got run over by a bicycle.
You were riding a bike and got hit by a car, or a bike ran
I got
over?
run over by a bicycle. I was at a campground called Lake George, and I was bringing firewood. Like from they got like a little truck that goes around to the camp and sells firewood. And I was bringing one of those, but like just an armful of, I was like 4, so like 2 logs back. And there's this kid speeding down because our camp is at the bottom of the hill. There's this kid on his bike with no brakes.
Ooh.
Just pinned me to a tree, and so I broke this collarbone, my left clavicle. And then a couple of years later, I went to elementary school in East Fishkill. So I was like 7, and the town had just bought a new playground, and so this is the first day at summer camp. The kids are allowed to use the new playground. They just put it in. They're really proud. I go on this spinny thing that you like jump onto, you hang with your hands, and then you just like swing your whole body around and spin.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah, kinda. And then I fell, and I let go because my wee arms just couldn't take it anymore. And then I landed on my wrist.
Ooh.
And broke my wrist. And that sucked. And I guess the way I broke it, I didn't need just like a cast on my hand between my elbow. I had one up to my shoulder.
Ooh, I've never seen a full arm cast. No
Right? Especially for a wrist break. Like, why do you need to immobilize my elbow? But I mean, doctors. I don't understand doctors. They go to school for that shit, and I make fun of nerds who do that. So I had a cast, and I remember being upset at my teacher because like there's this other student who like she got in like a car crash. It was a minor thing, like nobody was killed or anything, but she did have to go to the hospital for a day, so she wasn't in school for a couple of days. And the teacher like stopped class to let everyone know, and then I just raised up my cast. I was like, "Hi." Like, I felt like this poor girl was taking away my precious attention. And that's when I knew I was destined for a life on the stage. Just that craving for attention.
Yeah, it's a fact. Fucking, I unfortunately got a lot of attention that I didn't want when I had an injury. Fucking, so dude, like, I'm fucking on my dad was on it was either a 4-wheeler or a snowmobile, and he's pulling me in a sled behind him, right? And dude, we hit like this little tiny ass like ramp of ice. It's maybe like not even like 6 inches high, but it's like a little ice ramp. And
it's enough to get your butt off the seat.
Yeah, so I fly up off the seat like a couple inches, and the sled slides out from underneath me, and then like right at the tip of that ramp, I landed on my tailbone. So I like shattered my fucking tailbone, right? And like, dude, I could not sit down at all, like especially on like wood chairs and shit. Like it just hurt so bad. So I had to have like this fucking cushion that was like angled, and then it had like a fucking cutout for where your tailbone is.
You know what I would.
And I had to bring that everywhere with me at school and shit. And I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh my god, I got roasted to shit.
Yeah, I would have called you Donut. The cushion boy. I wasn't a very imaginative child.
I was told as a child I was too imaginative.
I was told that I know things people my age shouldn't, but it's just because my family did stupid things like let me watch Austin Powers and Deuce Bigelow.
I've seen Deuce Bigelow, I've not seen Austin Powers.
Don't show it to a 7-year-old because they'll develop a really fucked up sense of humor and a fucked up sense of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
See, my parents didn't let me do any of that shit. Like, my mom especially was, like, really, like, anal about, like, video games, like, shit like that. And, they would see, like, the rated R on a movie or, like, rated M on a fucking game, and then they'd be like, oh, you can't play that. Or you can't watch that, or whatever the fuck. But, like, they'd see me with a book, and they're like, oh, you're fucking reading, like, yay. And, like, in reality, dude, I'm, like, 9 years old reading Stephen King. Yeah, some dark shit that man writes about.
Yeah, when I was 8 or 9, I went down to Texas to visit my dad, and he left us, me and my sister, my brother. My sister was off doing other shit, with these two 13-year-old babysitters. And they were like, okay, we're going to watch a movie, and you can watch it with us, or you can go take a nap. So, regardless of what movie, what is your prediction of a 9-year-old's choice?
Yeah, kids hate taking fucking naps.
Kids fucking hate naps. And I wasn't allowed to sit in the nap room and play the SNES they had.
Damn.
They were like, you can't do that. You gotta watch the movie or go to bed because we don't want to watch you while we're watching the movie. And I was like, whatever, I'll watch the movie. Stephen King's It.
Ooh.
And so I was terrified, dude. I didn't take, like, showers for a week because I thought the dude that killed himself and wrote It with his blood, I didn't think he killed himself. I thought it was the clown coming through the drain.
Oh, no.
And that movie fucked me up. I've gotten over the fear of clowns since then, but that little spike in clown phobia, I felt along with everyone else. You remember those dudes running through the woods wearing clown costumes?
Yeah, didn't they have, like, machetes or some shit?
Yeah, they were just, like, trying to scare people.
You're gonna have water. Dude, I remember that, man. That was like a big thing around here. There was like a bunch of
kids
clown sightings and shit, right? Yeah.
And there was also a bunch of old men on Facebook like, if I see a clown, I'm shooting. You don't get any chances.
Yeah, I feel like maybe there was like one legitimate like deranged guy that was like a clown, just walking around doing whatever he does.
Shit. I don't know what.
But then like everybody sees that and they're like, oh. Wow, I could be in the news if I dress up like a clown.
Yeah, it's like a meme.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's like a meme.
Fuck yeah.
It's like, you remember owling or planking?
No.
Planking was like this dumb meme, like 10 years ago, where people would just like lay down on something strange, and like. Do like the exercise, the plank. Like, for example, someone would lay down on the counter, like just on their abs and like plank their body, and that would be considered a meme. Meme culture has evolved since the early days.
Yeah, I remember the mannequin challenge. That was like a big fucking thing. And it was always that one fucking song playing in the background.
Did you have Vine? Back when Vine was a thing? I didn't.
No, but I've seen some Vines on, like, YouTube and shit.
It makes it really hard to relate to Generation Z. Because I didn't have a Vine. And, like, especially my girlfriend, she's, like, a year younger than me. But she had Vine for the entire time it was out.
Okay.
And so she's constantly making Vine references. And I'm constantly pretending like I understand the Vine references because I never had the app.
Dude, it's crazy how like relatable and referenceable fucking SpongeBob is.
Oh yeah, man. SpongeBob it really captured, I think, the essence of what it is to be a sponge in America. I think it's a real piece of the zeitgeist. Ooh, real throwing out all the German words I know. Here's a Getonswesen.
The fuck does that mean?
Species essence. Marx talks about it in Volume 1 of Capital.
Oh shit! I've actually read a bit of the Communist Manifesto. I actually fuck with it. Yeah. for the most part.
Marxists are a diverse group. I heard a really good analogy of Marxists are like fish. And that, you know, how fish swim in the ocean at different depths and they like relate to each other differently. And the same as Marxists. Like Marxists swim through the ocean that is the vast amount of shit Karl Marx wrote. And they all have different ideas about different things. Some are at different depths.
I feel like Marx was even like that too, like at different points in his life. He was, he was different in his extremism.
Sure. Definitely early on in his life, before the 1871 Paris Commune, he was more of the thought that liberals would be of aid in the eventual social revolution. And then after that, he sort of adjusted his thoughts, and so he thought that there would have to be like a workers' revolution that included the liberals, and then a workers' revolution after that that didn't include the liberals, because liberals would just try and hang on to the state. And then after 1871, he's like, no, there shouldn't be two revolutions. There should just be one revolution and overthrow the liberals with the current regime.
Yeah, and people on the podcast keep in mind too, we're talking about like classical liberalism, not like liberals today.
No, Karl Marx was talking about the Democrats.
Was he?
No.
I was like, wait, what?
No, but that's a good point to note. I work a lot in political science and philosophy, so it's. And in those fields, liberalism has the more classical term. So when one says liberalism in the context of Marx, generally they're saying it like he did.
Yeah, dude, he was like all about like workers' rights and shit, which I didn't realize that until I like really delved into the manifesto.
Yeah, I recommend reading more. There's this book by Mark Fisher, I think, called Capitalist Realism, and it sort of relates how society fuck, I forget now. I'll write this down. You should cut that bit out. Yeah, I encourage reading more Marx, or even my preference is a contemporary of Marx at the time. Is Mikhail Bakunin, this bearded Russian revolutionary. And he puts more of like a libertarian spin on Marx's socialism. Like at this time, Marx had his brand of socialism, Proudhon had his brand of socialism, Bakunin had his, and there were so many other different branches of it that
and
to be a
nowadays
Marxist,
it all gets labeled the same fucking
exactly.
thing.
Like if you ask the average American, they'll see Marxism and socialism; these are interchangeable. But Marxists were only one group in the broad socialist. What's a better word than umbrella? Pool. In the ocean of socialism.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, is the shit that he wrote. It's misconstrued a lot of the information about it out there.
Absolutely.
Too. Like, I like too how he talked about like the fact that like people in like feudalism and shit probably thought feudalism was like gonna be forever. Like it was just, like you just think, you know, whatever your end is like the current end all be all.
Yeah, I'd like to point to a 1990 or 1991 essay by Francis Fukuyama entitled "The End of History," where he was like, "We did it. Liberalism and the free market. We've reconciled it. We've shown that communism isn't worthy. We've reached what he called the end of history. Like, we've reached the final stage of what he thought was political evolution." And Marx says, yeah, people in feudalism thought that.
Yeah.
Like, monarchies are thinking that at the time he was writing it, but he's like, no.
Yeah, it's like societal conditions that create the need for change, and government and economic systems change after that.
Analysis of you.
Yeah.
Because the prevailing viewpoint philosophically, at the time that Marx was around, was like a Hegelian dialectic. It was that ideals came before the material condition. And Marx flipped that around. So he said, it's not I think, therefore I am. He said, I am, therefore I think.
Ooh. I like that.
Right? And so a Marxist way, out of the many ways to get yourself called a Marxist, but one of the ways to get yourself called a Marxist is by using material analysis to view historical events, like saying the Nazis didn't turn the German people evil, like there was like the shittiness of World War I, the reparations, the world economic conditions, these are the material conditions
kind
that
of
we're dealing with.
fucked that up, that whole scenario. We created horrible conditions in Germany and then acted surprised when Germany like did some crazy shit.
Yeah. I mean, not to justify what they were doing.
Oh, absolutely.
But to say
yeah,
that
yeah.
the material conditions created the ideological conditions, not the other way around.
Bro, I heard too that like Hitler was like a big fan of like Henry Ford, and that he got his. I heard like he got his whole idea of like blaming Jewish people from Henry Ford.
Have you heard of the business plot?
No, what is that?
Okay, so the business plot was this thing that happened in the 30s. It was these right-wing like company guys trying to overthrow the government and install a fascist regime. One of the guys was Henry Ford. Another guy's was I forget his name, but he's like the grandfather of George W. Bush. He's George H.W. Bush's father. This guy's son became president.
Wow.
And they were trying to overthrow the government and install a fascist, like super capitalistic regime. And there's this one guy that they tried to recruit in the military that outed them. He had this goofy fucking name. Smedley. I'm not shitting you. I forget his first name, but it was Major General Smedley that they tried to like get him to like help, and he like.
That guy probably had hell in the army with a name like that.
Yeah, he actually he's a pretty accomplished soldier. I think he was in the Marines.
No shit.
But like Smedley, yeah, I would have bullied him. I would have taken his lunch money. But to make him a better person later, not because I want this ice cream sandwich now.
So what did he expose? The business plot?
Yeah, so he exposed the business plot, and no legal repercussions came out of it. It sort of tainted Smedley's reputation for a while because not a lot of people believed it. But like over time, more shit has come to light, and we're like, wait, no, General Smedley. I think it was General Butler Smedley or some shit,
okay.
like some weird first name. But General Smedley, since then new shit has come to light. Like he was right. Like these people were trying to.
Did he live to see some of that information come out?
I don't know.
That's gotta be like the worst, man. Like, you know, your whole life, like everybody's
like you testifying from the Senate, and everyone's like,
you're fucking. Yeah, everybody's like, you're a fucking joke, and then like you die, and then like years and years later, they're like, oh, this guy was right.
They did give it a semi-serious investigation, but the way that the perpetrators of the business plot works, like these are like business leaders, so they're just gonna like pay people off to, hey,
yeah,
don't say that thing I said.
Yeah, it's hard too back then because they didn't have like mad recordings of all sorts of shit.
That happened during the Great Depression, so like everyone's hurting for money. I feel like that moral bar of who will accept a bribe sort of like lowers, and it's more acceptable to like, cause like yeah, everyone's struggling, like $500 not to say something. Sure.
Yeah, that's like part of the paper I was talking about, like with the arms dealing and shit that I wrote about. Fucking, that was like part of the thing was that
cinematic masterpiece, Lord of War.
Yeah, dude, fucking like these Russian generals and shit. Like after the collapse of the Soviet Union, like there wasn't anybody above them, like so they didn't face major consequences, and they weren't really getting paid either because the government just collapsed.
Didn't
so like fuck it, we'll sell some guns.
Nukes also just disappear.
Yeah, dude, I think I watched this video by Real Life Lore about nukes. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy.
Real life lawyer.
Lore, Lore.
No.
Dude, he has like this video that talks about nukes. Apparently, the U.S. has lost, I think, I want to say 13 nukes. Just lost. And like Russia's lost like a predicted 50 to 100 nukes.
Yeah, they lost like a good amount as soon as the wall came down. And with the ousting of with the ousting of Gorbachev, nobody knew whether the premier of the USSR or the president of Russia had power of their nukes. So with that power crisis, it's understandable you could lose some nukes. Not
the U.S.
Not it's okay, bro. You just lost some nukes.
There was this
go to jail, but
a fucking, I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it's one of those big ass boats that planes land on and shit.
A runway.
Oh,
a boat.
Yeah, a boat,
aircraft carrier.
Yeah, and dude, this guy there was a plane or a jet or some shit with a nuke on it. I think it was a nuke or 2 nukes on it. And then this plane just
would not want to
rolled off the boat into the ocean with 2 nuclear bombs, and it's just off the coast of Georgia. So they're supposedly I don't know if they're still there or not. They supposedly could never find them, and it's really really close to a major city.
That doesn't make me feel good. I've got some anxious feelings about that, but we're out in New York. That blast radius isn't that big.
Yeah, our town was number 3 on the fucking nuke list at one point.
Yeah? Well, at one point. We ain't got shit here anymore. Maybe some empty nuke silos.
Oh yeah, we had nuke silos. We had fucking fallout shelters all over town. They're still there today, some of them.
Yeah, there's one of the weird bank thing.
Yeah, there's one in City Hall. There's another one in the YMCA too.
Wait. Pause this for a second.
Word. And we are back from our ad break. So where did we leave off? I don't know exactly.
I don't remember, but that was a really
we were talking about nukes
ad for blow up dolls in the break.
We were talking about nukes.
We were talking about
Plattsburgh being on the nuke list.
Used to be on the list. Yeah, I mean, fuck Plattsburgh too.
They had the big airbase up here too.
They did.
I don't know. They say that the airbase is no longer in use, but I don't believe it, man. When I worked at several hotels in the area, right?
There's still planes and helicopters taking off.
Yeah,
you can
still
see
planes
it
and
from the
helicopters.
classrooms at Clinton Community College.
Yeah.
You can see shit
And
going on there.
I remember one day, probably almost half of this hotel breakfast one morning. I was working breakfast, and almost half the people were fucking in full military uniform and shit. And I was talking to one of the guys, I was like, "Oh, what's going on? This and that." And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're doing some shit up at the Air Force Base. I can't really say much more than that, this and that. But yeah, we're just fucking around at the air base." And I'm just like, yo, people be trying to say that this is an inactive air base. I don't buy it.
It's where they put the Canadian illegal immigrants. These.
You think they put them in cages too?
No, they're white. Let's be real. The cages thing is about dehumanizing migrants.
Yeah. That whole situation is kind of fucked up.
It is fucked.
Have you seen the video of Pence visiting that place?
Fuck Pence. Why are we not physically going to these ICE detention centers and taking these kids out? Dude, some dude for Pizzagate shot up a pizzeria in DC and said it was to protect the children. Why are we not taking care of real shit?
Yeah.
It's because they're brown.
It's unfortunate, man. I took a philosophy class, and dude, I forget the guy's name, but we read the work of some guy. His name started with a C. I don't remember it,
What
but
was it called? Where?
I don't. But it was all about open borders, and this guy made a really really good argument for open borders. He was just talking about the source of because pretty much he was saying yeah, like a lot of, he wasn't even saying a lot, but he's like, yeah, like rapists and murderers and shit come up from these places and like gang members and
We
shit
got
like that.
more of them homegrown.
Yeah, we have our own problems too. But the reason that these places are so poor is because they don't have opportunity. If we had open borders and anybody could just go anywhere, like it would benefit everybody. Because if you're in this one place that's like super poor, you can just go to this other place that's not super poor and like make something of yourself. And it was just the argument that like those people that potentially could have had productive lives, been scientists or cured cancer or whatever the fuck, like they were unable to achieve their potential because of circumstances and like situations. Like it helped trade and information flow and like all sorts
We
of shit.
can't have a not white person invent the cancer vaccine. Come on, man. We gotta enforce these borders arbitrarily so that we can make the money.
That's what it's all about, man. But like,
Yeah. That's not even weed.
I don't necessarily believe in like fully 100% open borders. Like I believe you still have to have like a passport and shit. You know, like I'm going here or whatever. But at the same point in time, like I think you should pretty much be able to go anywhere.
I think eventually
Any point
we're
in
going to
time.
move past countries and borders because we've had, agricultural villages, and that was supplanted by cities, which was supplanted by city-states, supplanted by nations and nation-states, and now imperial powers. And I think that that is also going to wither away and have another, bring about a new, here comes Marx again, mode of production.
You think there's ever gonna be like a world government?
I think if there is, it would be far off. I think that could be useful, I'm sure, but I think most of the beneficial shit that government does is done on the local individual basis, so that's where most of the power has to reside. So instead of having like a top-down system with like a fucking president, we wouldn't have a president. We would have, it would be based on like local governance
Yeah.
and like economic interdependency. And I feel like once we can shake off borders, then we'll alleviate a lot of the resource issues that lead to wars and lead to conditions where people have to sneak across borders.
Yeah. I think another thing.
But I don't think that's going to rival that effort. I
That's,
don't think that's just inevitable.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely would take some serious like push from people to make changes like that. Another argument too that this guy talked about in this fucking reading I was telling you about was like people. Well, part of the argument for borders is like, oh, they're gonna like, for example, say all borders were like open tomorrow. Like, how many people would come to say like the U.S. and then people are worried like, oh, that'll like destroy the U.S. culture, this and that. But the thing is that
Culture is malleable.
yeah, culture is malleable. Plus, the U.S. is built on different cultures and immigrants and everything. And you got to figure that even like say the U.S. like Boston's always gonna be Boston. Like it's gonna have that Boston type culture.
Yeah.
It's
London
like,
has.
You have all these
Syracuse.
places that have their own cultures, even though you can freely travel between states.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Louisiana culture burdens like New York City or like Boston culture. Like even though you can freely travel back and forth and do whatever.
Yeah, and I think that if we had open borders, I don't think it would ruin the economy because people getting here legally wouldn't be able to be dicked over like illegal immigrants are. If they don't have that, I'm going to tell immigration on you, then they won't be able to be taken advantage of financially and get paid like $5. So I don't think it would supplant a lot of jobs. I don't think a lot of people would come because like the past 4 years, just seeing how the government treats Mexicans, like I wouldn't want to come if there were like no borders. I'd be like, I'm gonna do whatever I've been doing here.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't want to go somewhere they hate us.
What do you think about the decriminalization of drugs in Oregon?
I think it's going to be. I think we're going to get a lot of valuable data. I'm for just legalizing drugs, just having like safe spaces to do them and resources if you want to quit. Not like people breathing down your neck, like you're gonna quit it, you're gonna quit it.
Yeah.
But like just I think we're gonna get a lot of valuable data on how this affects communities, how it affects how many people are ODing.
I worry that the data at first is going to be skewed, so I hope they take this data kind of in a long-term basis.
The first news stories we see are going to be heavily biased, but over time, in aggregate, we'll get better and better.
'Cause I think like right now, like you're going to have those people that normally wouldn't do drugs because they're illegal. You're going to have those people that are going to start doing drugs.
I don't think they're going to start with crack, though.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they weren't doing crack because it was illegal, like, if you're considering doing crack, the legality wasn't an issue anyway.
Yeah, and then there might be people that like move there so that way they can legally do drugs in the beginning. So I think in the beginning, like use might skyrocket, and then people are gonna be like, "Oh no!"
There to move there specifically to do drugs, and they probably already have the means and the functionality to like keep a job and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it's going to be overrun with addicts or anything.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to balance out.
Using are the same people that are going to be using.
Yeah, I think it's a much better system, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the way you look at like the measurements, like you can tell that this like thing that they passed was not passed by people that do drugs. And I was talking with somebody about this the other day. I don't remember who, but. Like you look like, and they're like,
an ounce of weed is the same as an ounce of coke, right?
Well, no, for coke, you can have under 2 grams, but like a common like measurement for coke is like an 8 ball. You know what I mean?
One does 2 grams in a night.
Yeah, and then
unless you run out of money after buying the second gram.
But then acid, you can have 40 hits of acid,
and like, that's not personal use.
Yeah, one that's not personal. I fucking hope that that's not personal use. And if you took that much, you'd be fucked up for a whole week. You took 2 grams of coke, you'd be fucked up for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's the way that it's, the increments that they use is kind of a bit strange, but
yeah,
it's definitely progress.
Sounds like a bunch of white dudes who tried coke once in college and was like, that's probably not as bad as crack. So they legislated differently. Can you have are coke and crack legislated differently? Do you know?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Like, because it's basically the same drug. I think it would be shitty if they held on to that thing. Well, we're going to criminalize crack.
Well, I think it's all decriminalized.
Yeah, but like, say if you can only buy a gram, you can only have a gram of crack, but you can have 2 grams of coke. Mm-hmm. Like. That's still a disparity, because at least for the federal government, they see crack as a quote-unquote black drug.
Right.
And coke as a quote-unquote white drug. That's why, like, coke and crack have different, like, a huge disparity in their sentencing.
Yeah. I've never done crack.
No, I've had it offered to me a couple of times, and I've always just like, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not in a crack mood.
Yeah, I know some people that have smoke crack like one time and go on like a crazy crack binge. Like next thing you know, like all their money's gone. Like they just do crack like once and like.
Yeah, I guess once you break that seal.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, no, I've heard it's like fucking wicked.
I try to, if I am doing drugs, which is, I go through my phases here and there, but I don't usually do anything super crazy. And I try to balance it. Like I don't do the same drug like consistently. Like I smoke weed all the time, but that's different.
Yeah.
Like I'll balance it out with different drugs.
Oh yeah. I feel like I would be fine if the only drugs I did for the rest of my life were alcohol, weed, and like shrooms. Cause like
I enjoy my nicotine as well.
Well, yeah, that is a drug. And nicotine, so 4. Cause like. I don't want to not do nicotine. Because shrooms isn't habit forming, and if it is, it's not the shrooms.
Yeah, that's more of a personality defect than an
and
issue with shrooms.
Yeah, and like I would use that in like, you know, like maybe once a month or something.
Yeah. Do you know anybody that microdoses on shrooms?
No, I just feel like that's a waste of money.
Yeah.
You're not microdosing, bro. You're just getting a little high before work.
Pretty much, yeah. I've heard mixed results on it.
I've heard mixed results too.
I'm interested in it, but I think honestly it's better to just like do a macro dose like every couple months than it is to like microdose every day. I think you have pretty much the same effect, but you're like not fucked up every day.
I microdosed once, but just because I fucked up and bought one tab, and me and my buddy both wanted to trip. And we're like, well, maybe a half of a tab will do it. And so we both just microdose instead of actually tripping.
No shit. Yeah, microdosing is a lot harder with acid because you don't exactly know.
Yeah, man, one tab could fuck it up, or it could take 2, or it could take 3.
Yeah. And like a lot of people too with acid will like not be super fucked up and then they'll take more and then they overdo it.
I would love to trip right now. Next week.
I'm down with some shrooms.
Yeah. Do an 8th and not fall asleep this time. Jesus Christ, I can't believe it.
That is a waste of money.
That was a waste of money. I think Toast by the shrooms though. I just bought the Domino's, so he was out on money. So he was pissed at me that I didn't trip.
Have you ever done absinthe?
I have. I got super fucked up. I was with Toast and Sean. And me and Sean were playing chess.
Oh, I think I was with you that night. I've only done it once, and it was with.
I had it a couple of times before that, but I was very tame. But that night, Sean was beating me at chess, and it was
I remember that. Yeah.
I was a teensy bit upset, dear listeners.
I didn't like. I've heard you can trip off that, but I think the American, like the one you can buy in like the liquor store in America, is not.
I think the active ingredient, the hallucinogen, is wormwood.
Yeah, and I think there's like trace amounts.
Poison.
I think there's trace amounts in like the shit you can get legally here, but I think if you go like overseas or like go to the black market, you can get like a really potent shit.
When I was in France, I should have tried absinthe, but we bought hash. And the way we did it, because we didn't know anyone, we didn't speak French. Me and my buddy went, like, it was like midnight. We went, like, just walking around. We see this dude surrounded by a couple other dudes, and they all have Louis Vuitton, like, sports bags. And Michael's like, oh. And my friend was like, that's them. So I was like, oui, je voudrais marijuana. And they're like, I don't know what the fuck that means, bro. Are you trying to buy weed? Actually, no, I don't think I tried French first because I don't speak French. I think I tried Spanish. I was like, hablas español, because that's a better, like, not a lot of people in Paris either don't know English or refuse to speak it to an American. And so Spanish was an easy bridge.
Yeah, a lot of people in Europe are bilingual.
Right.
Even trilingual.
Exactly. Everyone knows everyone else's language, but will pretend not to know English when talking to Americans. So, I'd speak Spanish. So, and that happened like a bunch of different times. I think I ended up doing it with the tour guide, because like, I heard that asshole speaking English. And then like, when me and my buddy were looking for help, he was like, non parle anglais. And, dick. But yeah, so I asked in Spanish for weed, and he's like, we got hash. Alright, follow my buddy down this alleyway and wait there for 4 minutes. Give us like 40 euros. And I was like, 40 euros, 40 bucks? Yeah, that's about it. It's like 80 bucks. Or like, it's like 60 bucks. So I paid like $60 basically for an eighth of hash, which felt like a good deal. Turned out it wasn't. But like, we smoked that in the hotel room, and that was how I got high. We thought we'd be able to do a week without weed.
Yeah, I feel that. Fucking, I smoked hash once. I got way too high.
Yeah,
Like, I was at work, dude, and this lady, like, that worked in the laundry department at this hotel, like, smoked weed all the time, and I'd smoked weed with her many times prior, and fucking, it was actually one of my buddy's moms, which is pretty funny, but dude, I'm like taking out the trash, and this lady like is just hotboxing her fucking car, and like I just go over and just fucking with her, like I knock on the window, and she was like, "You want to smoke a bowl? Hop in." I was like, "Fuck it." So I hop in, I fucking take a couple hits, and I'm just like, "This is some good fucking weed." I'm really stoned. She's like, "Oh, it's because you're smoking hash." I was like, "Oh."
Or was it hash or was it just keef?
It was hash.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and like I looked at it afterwards. I was like, "Oh."
I love hash.
I only took a couple hits, and I was retardedly stoned for the rest of my shift.
Have you ever heard of a Thai stick? Apparently, it's what like
Nah, what is that?
American soldiers in Vietnam smoked. It's like the Vietnamese strain of weed, and it's like a wooden stick, and they beat the cannabis plants till it got sticky with resin, and then they rolled it in buds.
No shit.
And so you just had a stick of weed.
I heard they used to like carve out like fucking gun barrels and shit, and like smoke opium out of like AKs and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Americans did that too.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ever
Drug
try
culture.
opium. Like I would never do heroin or anything
Yeah.
like that, but
Opium is basically heroin.
yeah.
I didn't like the loopiness that the morphine in the hospital gave me.
Mm.
And I don't know if that was just because I hadn't eaten, but like I attributed that to the opiate qualities of it.
No shit. Yeah, I've never done any opiates myself.
Yeah. No,
Kind of want to
for
stay away from that.
needles, or if you prefer smoking it, just black squishy balls. Like that's not
Most people take fucking pills nowadays.
pills. That makes sense. Like coke.
Like Oxy,
Oxy.
fucking all that shit.
I snorted what my friend called a Roxy once, and I think it was high. I don't remember.
I've snorted hydros before, which are
There you go. You done opiates.
yeah, I think that is yeah. Well, that's like a very minimal opiate compared to some of the other shit out there.
Yeah, I guess hydros are some of the weakest.
Yeah, they're like a bunch of people in my school got their wisdom teeth removed, like all within like a couple weeks of each other, and they were all like, "Oh, you gotta try these." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Fuck these fuckers like Tic Tacs.
Dude, I didn't even feel like high off them. It was just like a little euphoric, I guess. I don't know. Definitely would not be my drug of choice.
Yeah.
I don't know. My drug of choice is just fucking weed, man.
Yeah. I smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. Hey. I smoke a shit ton of weed. But yeah, I don't think that's something that I would want. I mean, I can't have done it before I've gone without weed, but like, I don't want to compare it to like coming home and having a beer, because I don't come home and having beer 20 times a day.
Yeah, right.
But it's comforting. Like it's you gotta take care of your head.
Yeah, I don't know. I've definitely.
It's cheaper than therapy.
Yeah. I've actually been seeing a therapist for the first time ever recently, and it's been relatively helpful.
Oh, word. I've been, my therapist and I do telephonic.
Yeah, mine's fucking Google Meets.
Yeah, man, it helps. You gotta be careful of the drugs they prescribe, because a lot of them will make sure that you don't laugh for them.
Yeah, I fucking wouldn't take any drugs my therapist prescribed.
I don't think the therapist can prescribe that.
Yeah, I
It's
think
more
it's
of
a
psychiatrist.
psychiatrist, yeah. But, yeah, I don't know. I definitely Like, Xanax is a pretty nasty fucking drug. Like, I wouldn't want to be put on that shit. It's not even Xanax anymore, but it's the same fucking base.
It's the same drug.
Yeah, like, benzos as a whole are just, like, fucking... I don't know, they're good sometimes, like, if people actually have, like, a chemical shortage in their brain, but, like... A lot of people that are, like, depressed and shit, like, if you just, like, start eating better, you know, get proper sleep, exercise, and, like... find a fucking hobby, like you'd probably be good to go. As opposed to fucking taking Xanax or whatever the fuck you take, like.
Yeah, no, miss me with that Xanax, man. Ugh.
Dude, it like fucks with your memory pretty bad.
Oh yeah. I don't think remember is the right word.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, I remember. Oh boy.
Well, yeah, fucking...
Gee willikers, buddy. That's a lot of Xanax.
Yeah, this shit fucking... I used to do that shit a lot when I was younger, and, like, I have a very spotty memory of, like, an entire summer.
Oh, yeah. That's rough, dude. I spent the summer doing whippets, and I had a walk-in. I used to work at a summer camp. And one summer I had to work in the dining hall, which was like boring as shit, except for like the coworkers I had.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes we would just like go in the walk-in because they just had shit ton of whipped cream. And I'm just like, hey, you wanna hit?
Yeah, I've done whippets once off of like actual nitrous oxide. I wasn't like a huge fan. We like filled up balloons and shit.
I fucked with it. It was nice. I could do that recreationally every now and then.
I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I got very, very lightheaded, and I was kind of just like not feeling it.
Yeah.
But
it's big at raves.
yeah, I've
I used to
heard
live
like
in Oregon.
festivals and shit too.
In Oregon, there's like literally every other fucking warehouse that's a rave in it.
Did you go to any raves in France at all?
No.
I've heard that the club scene and like the underground club scene especially is fucking popping out there.
Underground. Like,
yeah, literally
we
underground.
heard of these raves that were happening in bits of the catacombs that you're not traditionally allowed in. We didn't end up looking for those.
Damn.
But yeah, I wish we could. I wish we found better party drugs than hash. Because it was hard to like. My buddy didn't know how to smoke it, so I'm like, and we didn't have any bowl or anything.
Oh,
we just had papers, so we like chopped it up into like dust and then rolled it into like a hash joint, and that barely worked. So I ended up like crafting a pipe out of tin foil in a water bottle.
Okay. The most cheapy thing I've ever smoked out of was this guy like rolled the fucking joint inside a McDonald's machine.
McDonald's receipt. Oh, that is some chewy shit though.
Oh yeah.
I've made bongs out of Gatorade bottles. I've made pipes out of apples, pears. At that camp I worked at, I taught these two Polish girls how to make a pipe out of an apple. And they're like, what? I've never seen this before. And I was like, yeah, and then you can eat it afterwards. And they're like, that's gross.
Dude, fucking... Have you ever drank Angry Orchards?
Yeah, the ciders?
Yeah, dude, I fucking got a variety pack the other day, and, dude, they make a pear one. It's fucking delicious.
Ooh, I don't think I've tried the pear one.
Dude, I didn't know it was like a thing.
Me neither.
Apparently...
Cider is good.
Apparently that shit is, not... I'm not gonna say it's like a mom and pop company, like it's a big company, but it's not like a super, super big company. It's based right here in New York, Walden, New York, apparently. And
I drank a lot of Angry Orchard when I was in Portland, Oregon.
No shit. I was gonna ask if you could get them out there, because like I've heard a lot of places don't have them like out west and shit.
Yeah, no, there's there at least we got them at the Trader Joe's that was next to the apartment.
Been struggling out here to find Henry's Hard Soda.
Henry's Hard Soda. I haven't had that since the summer, and that was out in like that was in like a rich part of New York, the Thousand Islands region.
Oh no shit.
Maybe that was summer before this one. Yeah, it was summer before this one because I didn't go there this summer because like COVID.
Yeah. It's dampened a lot of travel plans I have had, for sure. Like I said, I was lucky enough to go to Portsmouth, New Hampshire early on in the pandemic. That was pretty fun. And I think there wasn't a shit ton to do, but we just wanted to buy some vapes and swim in the ocean.
Like go somewhere other than Plattsburgh.
Yeah, and just like, I don't know, fucking... we went to a nice restaurant too. It was like outdoor seating and shit. And, but like, had we gone like not during COVID, I don't think it would have been as fun because it would have been like stupid fucking busy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, shit was still busy like as soon as COVID happened.
Oh, yeah.
Some BS, man.
Yeah. Fucking... You think the vaccine's gonna change a bunch of shit?
I think if it's successful, and I know that's a big qualifier, but I think if it's successful, it could make dealing with COVID easier. I don't think it's going to eliminate it as a problem. I think having it around is going to make people feel like it's not a problem. But like, we got to keep in mind, not everyone can get like vaccines. Like chemo patients are immunocompromised, so they have to rely on things like herd immunity.
Yeah.
So we still gonna be doing shit like wearing masks and like staying outside of large gatherings, and like really sucks staying home, like not with your family for Thanksgiving, but like this is just like shit.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to go home for Thanksgiving, but prior to that, I hadn't been up since I started going like September, November. I was able to go back to my parents, but prior to that, I hadn't been allowed to go to my parents since fucking Christmas.
Yeah.
So like I didn't go home for Easter. That was fucking rough.
I was down home at the end of October, and I had to leave because my aunt. Well, I was staying with my aunt, and she volunteered to be a poll worker, so she had to like quarantine after that. So like, I don't want to be in this house for 2 weeks.
Have you had to
So I'm gonna
quarantine
move
at
in
all?
with my girlfriend. What?
Have you had to quarantine at all?
No, I haven't been so close to it that I was exposed, but I've definitely been like, not going to parties or like.
Yeah, I've been pretty cautious for all of that
I've
shit.
been choosy with who I'm hanging out with based on like, if they're going to parties, then like I can't really like allow that in my circle because that just exposes me and everyone else I'm staying with.
Yeah, I know this guy that's I have business with him, and fucking he comes through from time to time, and fucking dude, this guy like still goes to all the parties and shit. He's a college student, and fucking dude, I just kind of hit him up like, how are you doing, man? Like, what's up? And fucking I hadn't talked to him in a little bit. And he was like, I had seen him like a week prior, and I hadn't talked to him in like a week, and I fucking hit him up, and I was like, how you doing? He's like, oh, not bad, this and that, like, yeah, I fucking tested positive for COVID yesterday, and I was like,
Big surprise.
oh, and I was like, pretty much like, I didn't like trip out or anything, but I was kind of like, oh, he didn't plan on fucking telling me, and like, he got positive that day, took his test, like, his test was from, the results were from several days prior,
symptoms, and you can spread it before you have symptoms.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck, like, I gotta get tested. I had to, everybody I was in contact with had to, like, let them know and shit instantly. And people took it a lot better than I thought they would. I thought people were gonna be like, oh, fuck you. Most people were like, oh, shit, we're thanks.
Yeah, no, I've never got a text like that, but, I mean,
yeah, so
I can imagine how shit
I had to quarantine until, like, I had quarantined for a day or two before my test. And then I got tested, and then I waited 3 or 4 days for, I think it was 4 days for the results, and I was cleared. But a couple people that I've been in contact with, like, also went and got tested, and they were out of work for like almost a week until they got the results back. And like, it was Bryce and my buddy Alex, they were both on the podcast last episode, and like, that sucks because they weren't really in the position to like not work, and you don't get reimbursed by your employer, and it's not like you can get unemployment for that because you're out for a fucking week. Yeah, so that's a shitty situation to be in.
That is real shitty.
But luckily we all tested negative, so.
Oh, word. So it wasn't more than a week.
No, yeah, it was like by the time I got that text from that guy that he said he had it, and the time that I found out I was negative was like 5 or 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't working at the time, and all my school was online and shit anyways, so I wasn't like super affected by it, but I definitely couldn't go chill with the homies and shit, and I don't know, I don't really have like a living room or anything crazy going on here, so
Right.
it sucks
So
just
you're
being
like
trapped in a
kinda
bedroom. Yeah.
That sucks, man. I miss chilling with the homies more than like just one at a time.
Yeah, I haven't really partaken in any large gatherings. I don't know, early on in the pandemic, there was a few times where like I just happened to be at a place and like 10, 15 people would be there.
I made jokes about throwing a coronavirus themed party before we had like a 9/11's worth of people dying every day.
Yeah. Fucking the COVID parties are pretty crazy.
Mm.
So, dude, I had this other guy on the podcast, and unfortunately, this episode, we did a whole episode, right? And, like, it didn't fucking save, right?
Ooh.
But, fucking this guy, like, showed up. This guy, like, randomly, like, kind of just, like, walked into my room. We're like, oh, we're doing a podcast or whatever. And he's cool shit. Like, he hopped on the podcast for a minute, and, like, we just shot the shit. And he, like, said something about COVID parties on his way out. And he brought over weed, and, like, we got really, really high, and like this kid that I had on as a guest doesn't smoke much, and he was really high, and like he's like, oh, what's a COVID party? And I was like, oh, like I think it's like when people like knowingly go to a party that like someone has COVID, and it's like a game to see like who does and doesn't get COVID afterwards. And he's like, dude, that sounds so fun, like all this shit. I'm like, what?
That sounds like the most fucked up.
And like, dude,
Russian
this guy tried to tell me, he was like, dude, he basically his whole argument was that he's like smart and that he would like outsmart the game, and that he would like go on social media ahead of time and like check everybody out and like see who he thinks does and doesn't have COVID and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, all it takes is somebody to be smoking a joint, cough, and then like everybody in like a 4-foot radius, you know, potentially has COVID. He's like, I'm too smart for that to happen. I was like, what the fuck? But I'm kind of glad in the sense that episode didn't save, because this man was saying some very whack things.
Yeah, Jesus. What's the...
Yeah, I was kind of...
I am also a fan of the audio medium of entertainment.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I prefer to have video. I originally like had video set up, but I was recording my phone. There's like mad fucking problems with that.
Right. Yeah,
because people would like randomly call me.
Right,
yeah, I do. I'm gonna get a nice camera and shit, but I also don't like to have a permanent setup out here. Like I don't know. I want to wait till I have like a permanent room to have that all set up in.
Yeah.
Some decorations and shit.
LED lights.
Oh yeah, I like the running LED lights underneath the table to get like that underglow.
Oh yeah.
That shit's dope.
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I want to get like not only just art for this creative room, but like works of art that have like inspired me. Like I want to get like some of my favorite books and shit, even though like I've already read them and I'm probably not gonna read them again. Like just to put them there, so it's like I don't know, maybe like some posters of like music artists and shit like that. Just like a whole room with like decorations, like actual art, and then like works of art as well.
Mm-hmm. That'd be dope. I wish I could curate art, but I really can't tell what's good and what's not good art.
Yeah, it's very subjective too. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how shit gets put in galleries because art is so subjective. Like I guess if it's like culturally referential or something.
Yeah, and it's like if enough people say it's good just off of like the hype of it supposedly being good.
Yeah.
Because there's like some famous paintings out there that like I see and I'm just like
duct tape to a wall.
Wait, what?
There's a piece that sold for upwards of $1 million. It was just a banana duct taped to a wall.
Damn. Yeah, like some of the shit out there, like
It's like, at what point, where does the value for that product come from? Because it didn't come from the labor it took to create that.
Dude.
Where does it blows my mind.
I got a funny ass story to tell you, right? So, I'm a writer. Like, I cannot draw for fucking shit, dude. Like, I have never, ever been able to, like, effectively, like, communicate via, like, drawing and shit like that. It's just been a mess every time I attempt it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in art class, and there's a bowl of fruit on the table. He said, draw the bowl of fruit. Now, I thought he meant draw, like, a bowl with the fruit in the bowl.
That bowl.
Yeah, so like a bowl with some fruit in it. He wanted us to draw the whole thing. I just looked in this bowl, saw 3 pieces of fruit, and drew the 3 pieces of fruit. Turns out there was a banana, an apple, and an orange in this bowl. So I draw it, dude, and it looks like a fucking dick. And I got sent to the principals like the whole 9 yards, and I'm like, dude, I attempted to draw an orange, an apple, and a banana. He's like, I think you're just like fucking with me, like all this shit, like you just drew a dick. I'm like, this is why I don't art, bro.
Poor I want you to know I didn't download that specifically to appear on your podcast. I just do that in real life. Not a real life sound.
This is why I've never taken my shot at art.
It ruined it for you.
Yeah, that art teacher was like constantly like getting people for dumb shit though. Like this really one guy,
aggressive art teacher. Like she would give students that she didn't like safety scissors instead of like the adult scissors, and she had enough.
Fucking one time, we had to like pick a country and like draw like a picture of like this country or some shit. And this guy picked the country Niger, and like the art teacher was just like, you're just trying to write the N word, like this and that. He's like, it's an actual country. He's like, no, go to the principal.
I got in trouble when I was in like 6th grade for thinking, and I guess it was more for voicing the thought that the ocean was salty because of whale jizz, and it wasn't my brightest hour, but yeah, I got sent to the principal's office for writing that on a test.
Damn.
Yeah, she was like, so why is the ocean salty? Because of whales in because I wasn't paying attention to the actual reasons it's salty. I couldn't tell you now.
Yeah, I don't know why the ocean is salty.
Massive amount of salt in the earth just dissipates through the
Yeah, I think it's just runoff and shit, maybe. I don't know.
That sounds plausible, but I'm not a Scientologist, so I don't know.
Scientologist?
Sorry, magician.
Fucking Scientology's fucking out there.
It is, man. That's... You know who L. Ron Hubbard was?
I've heard the name before.
He was the sci-fi author, but mostly a notorious grifter and con man. And he started the Church of Scientology based on tax evasion.
Based on tax evasion?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Germany, I think, like, they don't give you tax breaks for being part of the Scientology religion anymore.
Yeah, because Scientology religion is literally a pyramid scheme of... why the fuck is Tom Cruise so goddamn happy in every one of his pictures? He doesn't deserve it.
Dude, I heard a thing of, it was like, the video was called like a positive, or like an inspirational like message from Bill Burr. And dude, I died, bro. This guy was like, in times of need, celebrities often come out and give words of advice and wisdom. Now that Tom Hanks is sick, I'm here to take that endeavor or some shit. I was like, yeah.
I can see where that's going. car.
That's the funniest thing I've ever fucking heard. Fucking dude, Bryce showed me a movie the other day, and a couple weeks ago, and he apparently this movie was called Circle, and we were watching The Gray. Like I made him watch The Gray, and then it was like late as fuck, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. He's like, no, dude. He's like, you gotta watch this other movie, and I was like, you can put it on, and he's like, all right, and he's like, yeah, dude, see, it's got fucking. He's like, it's got Tom Hanks in it, and I was like, oh, okay, word. And then we're watching it, and then Tom Hanks walks out, and he's like, oh, I didn't know this guy was in this movie. I was like, wait, what? And then we watched this movie for like an hour, dude. It's the worst, most boring fucking movie I had ever seen in my goddamn life.
It's called The Circle?
Yeah, it's called, well, that we were watching.
Like a real roller coaster.
We were watching The Circle, right? And about an hour in, he's like, I think we're watching the wrong movie. The movie we were looking for is called Circle. And Circle was actually, like, not bad.
Was that horror one where it's like a bunch of people and they're standing in a circle and when someone moves, someone else gets zapped or something?
When you move, you get zapped, and then, like, everybody has to vote on, like, somebody to zap. Yeah, and then, like, I don't know, it was, like, kind of a psychological thriller, I guess, but I don't know, it had some pretty bad acting.
Yeah.
But it was an alright premise for a movie. Like,
well,
this one guy...
I love bad movies.
This one guy was, like, pretty much like, oh, like, we gotta vote to kill all the old people. It was like every 30 seconds somebody has to die or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's like, they have, like, the least amount of time left to live, like, you know, it makes the most sense. And at first, you know, everybody's just like, fuck it, they're zapping all these old people. And then, like, he calls, like, this 40-year-old guy, like, old as fuck, and was pretty much like, we need to zap him next. And then a bunch of people are like, I'm fucking 40. And then, like, all these, like, 40-year-old people just, like, vote to zap this guy, and he gets fucking burnt. It was not a bad movie. It was definitely better than the Circle. I couldn't believe it took this man an hour to realize that we weren't watching that movie because they were so, like, distinctly different. Like, The Circle was just pretty much, like, Tom Hanks, like, giving a TED Talk about, like, some, like, fucking, like, spyware or some shit. Had nothing to do with the movie about aliens abducting people and forcing them to kill each other.
When did the aliens come?
Fucking great. I've enjoyed rewatching The Gray, too. That movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I've watched a lot more movies since quarantine. I guess everyone has.
Yeah. I've always been more like a TV show guy, so, like, people reference movies all the time and I don't get it and they get really pissed off.
I was raised by a VHS set in lieu of a dad, so I just get all of the references. I saw Sorry to Bother You recently.
That's a very good movie.
It was a really good movie. It's very class conscious.
Yeah, I watched it in one of my political classes.
Oh, word! Really?
Yeah.
What was the teacher? Was it Carmen?
McMahon.
McMahon. Yeah, I took a class with him. I think it was it had something to do with like Chicago Mayor Daily.
Oh shit. Yeah, that was a movie played out a lot differently than I thought it would.
Yeah, especially the ending.
Yeah.
I watched that just before the other day. And so it freaked me out.
No shit. Yeah, fucking... That was a very interesting movie. I love when he's like, becomes a fucking shot caller. Not a shot caller, fucking...
Power color.
Yeah, power color.
Power color, baby.
Yeah, that movie had some really good acting, too.
It did. I liked Stephen Young's character. The guy who like started the strike and the walkout and whatnot.
Oh, yep.
He was in The Walking Dead.
Was he?
He was
Oh, yeah, Glenn, yeah, duh.
Yeah, he should have had the facial hair for The Walking Dead. It would have made him look more badass. It like he just looks super young.
Dude, I hated how in The Walking Dead they like made it seem like he was dead, and then like he wasn't, and then he actually died. But like you saw it coming from a fucking mile away. Like after he came back to life, you were like, yeah, this guy's gonna die soon. Like,
Yeah. Was he just like acting super like redemption-y?
not even necessarily that. It was just like, I don't know, the way it all played out. Like it was kind of retarded too, because like this guy was like surrounded by like a horde of zombies, and then he like climbs under a dumpster and like is fine. But like, I don't know. I feel like a crawler could have just like came and got his ass.
Nibbling at his forearms.
Yeah, like it was very unrealistic. I don't know. Some films and TV shows can get away with being over the top, but like you kind of have to be steady over the top. If you're like not over the top and then you just randomly do some over the top shit,
it's hard to open with a zombie apocalypse and keep that energy for 8+ seasons or however many they did.
Yeah, the comic. I think it is. Yeah, they have a spin-off too. Fear the Walking Dead is a lot better in my opinion.
Did like all of the main characters die?
Pretty fucking much, honestly.
Is Carl? Tell me Carl got bit.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Well, he got written out of the show though. There's some problems with like the actor. I think he like something to do with like his pay or something like that. So he got written out. But the comics were a lot better. The comics fucking randomly ended. Like he just announced like one month he was like,
I'm moving to a new genre.
Yeah, he was just like fucking. He came out and was like, yeah, like here's the comic for this month. Like next month's comic is gonna be the last one. Everybody was just like, what?
Oh shit.
But it was a fitting ending. It was good. Definitely gonna be different than the way the show ends, probably.
Yeah, because they're gonna try and squeeze as much money as they can.
Well, they're making, so I don't know if you know like fucking Rick Grimes' character.
I haven't seen it till Herschel died at the prison.
Okay, yeah. So like, there's some shit where like Rick like dies, but like doesn't really die. Like they just think he's dead.
Oh, that's fucking lame.
Yeah. So it was like some bullshit. Like I don't know. It was like kind of like a side story going on, and then like somehow like Rick just like there's like this bridge, and like they spend like this whole season like building this fucking bridge so they can like trade some shit, right? And then like
and then the bridge breaks.
Well, like there's like a horde of zombies coming, and like they blow up the bridge to prevent the horde of zombies from coming. But then Rick was like really close to the blast and like gets like blown away, and then like he gets medevac by a chopper, and like nobody sees this fucking chopper medevac him, even though they're all like they're all right around. Yeah, choppers are so fucking loud, bro. Like
they kick up a lot of dust, or were they in like a desert?
They're in like a forest or some shit.
Oh, still in like Georgia.
Yeah, some shit like that. I think they're in like
dirt and shit.
They're in Virginia at this point. I think I'm not positive. And fucking so yeah, he gets
get to DC.
I don't think so. But fucking Rick is all medevac from this chopper, and then everybody like the show has gone on now a couple seasons. Like they all just think Rick is dead.
Yeah.
So, but there's gonna be 3 movies with Rick Grimes.
3 movies?
Yeah, so they're making 3 movies. And then they've got the Fear the Walking Dead going as well.
I don't know if Rick's story has 3 movies in it.
I don't think so either.
He's already had like 8 movies worth of shit in the series. I stopped watching it.
They have another spin-off coming too.
I stopped watching after Terminus, after that season.
Okay. Yeah, that show just was too drawn out.
Yeah. Like I said, it's hard to start.
It became more about like
and keep that energy.
It became more about like people too than it did about zombies. Like I feel like they lost their fucking roots with that shit.
Yeah, but there's only so many situations you can throw your characters in a zombie apocalypse where like that's like the hat of the story. You know, like the zombie is like the flavor. But like there's only so much you can do with that flavor.
Yeah, that's why, like, in my book, like, it's pretty hard to write sometimes. 'Cause it's about zombies as well, and it's avoiding shit that I've already, like, seen in shows and movies and other books, and then it's like, I don't know. My book is kind of over the top in a lot of aspects. It's kind of like it's like a blend of a lot of different things because like it's got a lot of humor in it. It's got a lot of dark humor in it too.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's one part where like this like ice covered zombie like rolls up on this chick and she like fucking kicks it and its head goes flying and she just like yells "Golazo" in like a Spanish voice. But like it's got some crazy dark humor and shit. So it's kind of like got that Zombieland type of feel to it. But it's not meant to be funny. It's meant to be serious, but it is also fucking hilarious throughout. And then it's supposed to be serious, but at the same time, it's got a lot of that like corny, like over the top, like Resident Evil type shit in it too.
Very, very Kurt Vonnegut-y.
Yeah, like there's one scene where this guy like fucking dude, he has like a 9mm pistol, and he like so these guys are like tasked with like going into this hospital, and like it's been taken over by like these fucking like cartels and shit, and they have like this like scientist researching for a cure. And he has to go in with like a whole like military platoon, and like the whole platoon gets wiped out. And it's like him and this one guy, and they go up the stairs. They're like shooting a bunch of people in the stairwell, and they go up and up and up, and then like a bunch of shit gets like pushed onto the stairs, and then above and below them, so they're like forced onto this one floor, and then there's like a horde of zombies like on the floor, or well, there's shit gets thrown above them, and then below them there's a horde of zombies on this floor. So then the door just gets like whipped open, so the zombies are coming in behind them, and their way up is blocked. So they go into this one floor, and then they like start getting shot at. They like kill a bunch of people, and then they blow out a hole in the wall with a shotgun, and then they like tie like a bunch of like fucking bed curtains and shit, and like make a rope, and then they just like toss it out the window. They like tie it to like a fucking like one of the hospital beds, and then they jump across this other roof. And then this guy's like on the roof of the hospital, and he's like leaning over with an RPG, and he like fires it, and he just like peeks over with a pistol and like fucking shoots the RPG bullet out of the air, and it like blows up the rooftop. It's like pretty extra. And then they like jump back across and use like the rope they made to like get back in, because all the zombies like run.
That sounds like Michael Bay's Diary.
Yeah, all the zombies like. As they jump over to the roof, all the zombies just like walk out like the hole that they made. So like all the zombies just like fall and fucking, they're just like crawlers below, and then they just like jump back across, and they're like good to go. It's fucking, I don't know. It's struggle sometimes writing.
I feel that, dude. Writer's block is real.
Oh yeah.
I'm not working on any books, but I'm working on a couple of short fictions that like. I seem to like get in like a really good flow for a couple of days and like write pages on pages on pages and then like, well fuck, I'm not really sure to take the story from here.
Yeah, fucking. My problem is like, I've dabbled with writing. Like I've dabbled with writing in like creative writing classes and just shit I've had to write over the years. But I've never really honed in and like written a fair amount of shit. Mm-hmm. And I'm just instantly jumping into this, like, ginormous fucking project, which is, like, a 3-book zombie series.
Well, that's what you gotta do, though, right? You gotta keep writing, and that's the only way to get better at it.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, dude, like,
I would love to see Shakespeare's early drafts.
Yeah. I'm probably, like, 100, 150 pages in. And, like, dude, I go back and read, like, the first couple pages, or even the first few chapters that I wrote, and I'm like, this is fucking garbage.
It needs some editing.
Yeah. Well, the way I write, too, is, like, I'm going to have a fucking horrible time in the editing phase because I'm just literally just getting the story on paper. Mm-hmm. And, like, I'll see, like, all the squiggly red lines and blue lines and shit. I'm like, I don't fucking care. So, like, my entire, like, fucking book is just so bad with, like, spelling errors and grammar errors.
Oh, that's
and,
the
like,
first draft. Yeah,
dialogue is, like, written horribly. And, like, I'm really bad at writing dialogue. So there was, like, a couple parts in the book where, like, I knew, like I would go into this, like, this chapter's got to be, like, a big dialogue part, you know, character building and shit. And I'm just like, nah, some crazy shit needs to happen. And then there's just, like, no dialogue. So it was, like the first fucking act, like, there isn't, like, shit for dialogue until, like, chapter 4. And, like, that's kind of problematic. So it's just going back and adding that
again, shit. Like, the only way to get better at writing dialogue is it's just write a shit ton of dialogue.
Yeah. I might take a break. I've got a short story that I'm working on, that I was working on for this class. I might work on that.
Right.
But ideally, like, for now, I have planned, I'm going to write the zombie book, write a short story, second zombie book, then another short story that takes place in the same universe as the other short story, last zombie book, and then a third short story in the same universe.
Right. You want to cut for a commercial break? I gotta go pee.
Yeah, man. I think we talked about a lot. You want to end it here?
Sure. Yeah.
Word up, man. Do you have anything you want to say before we end her off?
Well, I don't have a body of work to plug quite yet. So, no.
No, word.
Fuck Fox News. That works. Fuck Bill O'Reilly.
I've heard a CNN called the Clinton News Network.
That's dumb.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for coming on, Marv. And
Thank you for having me.
stay chill, my dudes.